Are you a landlord with UK property income, wondering how to file your tax return and stay compliant with HMRC? Hey, I'm Art, one of the founders at Taxed, and we make tax filing super easy for overseas landlords like yourself. Our team have a wealth of experience in the expat taxation world from PwC, and we've made software that makes tax filing a breeze if you're living overseas. In this video, we'll be walking you through how to file your tax return with the SA109 residency pages and the SA105 rental income pages too. Now, if you just want to see the tax filing, feel free to skip ahead. But to start with, we'll go over residency and the tax implications. As a non-resident for UK tax purposes, you're only taxed on UK sourced income. Now that includes UK rental income, UK work days, UK interest or dividends. If you're living and working overseas, any of that income that you have from abroad doesn't need to be declared in the UK. For example, if I live and I work in Hong Kong, I don't need to declare my Hong Kong employment to HMRC. I only declare my UK rental income. A very common question that we get asked is, do non-residents still get the UK tax-free personal allowance of £12,570? And the answer is it depends. If you're a British national, so hold a UK passport, then yes, you always do no matter where you are in the world. In other cases, it depends on your nationality and your tax residency. In any case, input your details into Taxed and it will automatically calculate if the personal allowance is applicable to you based on the double taxation agreements. As a non-resident landlord, your letting agent or your tenant is required to withhold 20% tax and pay this to HMRC, unless you have filed the NRL1 form with HMRC. The NRL1 form tells HMRC that you're a non-resident landlord and that you will be filing your annual self-assessment tax return with them. And in doing so, it means that your rental income can be received gross, so without any tax being withheld. This is better from a cash flow perspective. If you have had tax withheld, it's at the 20% rate, without taking into account your personal allowance or any expenses, so you're often being overtaxed. But don't worry if that is you, because you can get that tax refunded when you come to file the tax return. Now, many non-resident landlords own property jointly with a partner. And there's no concept of joint or married filing in the UK, so it's important that each individual owner files their own self-assessment tax return to HMRC. Now, what you declare depends on the ownership percentage of the property, unless you have filed a specific deed of trust. Now, within Taxed, you can select that property is jointly owned, select the ownership percentage, and we'll do the apportionment. You can also file for multiple people or family members through your specific account. Now, one of the final but common queries that we get from overseas landlords is, do I need to declare my UK rental income in my local country? And the answer in most cases is yes. Obviously, in some countries, they may not tax your foreign income or not tax income at all. In those cases, then don't worry about it. However, if you're tax resident somewhere, they often tax your worldwide income. Now, the UK does have double taxation agreements to avoid you being taxed twice. But in most of these agreements, it would state that the UK would have the primary taxing right because the rental income is UK sourced. You can then claim a foreign tax credit for your local country to avoid you being taxed twice. We would always recommend speaking to a professional and advisor in your local country to ensure you get the rules right. If you do have any questions though, feel free to reach out to us and we can point you in the right direction. Perfect, we're nearly ready to get started with the tax filing itself, but before we do so, what do you need before you can start to file your tax return? To start with, we need the rental income and expenses, and this could be from bank statements or from the lettings and management statement too. We then need the details around the joint ownership, if that's applicable to you. And finally, we need some information about yourself as a taxpayer: name, date of birth, address, and the important thing, a unique taxpayer reference or a UTR. This is what's actually used to file your tax return with HMRC. But that's all you need, and now you're ready to jump into the tax filing. We can start off by clicking Start for Free at taxed.co.uk. I'm then asked a few questions that helps to build my personalised experience. I just need to select that I'm filing a personal tax return and that I'm living abroad and that I'm a landlord. Now, this ensures that when I save and create my account, I'll see all the questions that relate to non-resident landlords. And as I'm creating my account, this is the part where everything from here on in is saved, so I can come back to this at any point. We start off by asking you a few questions about your residency. Now, we use the statutory residence tests to determine your tax residence status. For most overseas landlords, you're probably going to tick one of the automatic overseas tests. And then we ask you about your days and your work days in the UK, your nationality and where you live. And that's it, that's all we need from a residency perspective to declare to HMRC. We also add in a note that tells HMRC that we'll just be declaring our UK sourced income. Perfect. Then we can jump into the rental income category. Start off by giving the property a name, entering details around income, tax paid. Then we jump into expenses. Use the drop down to see what you can be claiming. Things like mortgage interest can be claimed as a tax credit, service charges, letting fees, etc. In theory, anything that you purchase wholly and exclusively for the running of the rental property business will be allowable. And tax will handle all the calculations for you in the back end and let you know exactly how much tax you're due to pay or if there's any refund that's due from HMRC. And you can see this being updated live at the tax position. Now that's the bulk of your tax return complete. There's a few general questions and then we jump into personal info where we can input our date of birth, our address, phone number, and then things like our UTR, our unique taxpayer reference. And that's our tax return complete. We can jump into the finalising your return category to see the final numbers, what we're due from HMRC or what we need to pay HMRC. And then after payment, we can unlock our full tax calculation and our tax return. We can see exactly how our tax bill has been calculated and we can look through the PDFs of the tax return themselves before they get submitted to HMRC. Now you can make any changes at this point too, but once you're happy, you can press submit to HMRC. This will send off your tax return to HMRC instantly and you get a copy of the tax return, the tax calculation and a taxed pack which explains everything in your tax return for your record keeping. And that's it, your tax return has been sent off, you're HMRC compliant and you don't need to worry about UK taxes for another year. We hope this video has helped, but as always, feel free to get in touch with our team through the live chat for free, or you can book a personalised one-to-one call if you need any additional support. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.